All right, let's move straight to our first conversation. In our first conversation, in the spirit of the Eid-El-Kabir season, leaders across Nigeria are felicitating with Muslims and re-echoing the need for a moment of reflection on peaceful coexistence. President Bola Tinubu, in his message to Nigerians, stated that Eid-El-Kabir represents the high point of the sacred first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, a period filled with opportunities for acts of worship and good deeds. President said to truly honor Eid, Nigerians must embody these virtues, just as Prophet Ibrahim exemplified complete submission to the will of Allah. Other leaders, like former Vice President Atiku, emphasized the importance of embodying the festival's core values of sacrifice, and also of devotion to God. Well, in a statement by his media office, Atiku encouraged Muslims to seek God's mercy through prayers for nation building during this sacred period. The governor of Kogi State, Usman Ododo, also described the festival as a time to reflect on the virtues of obedience, sacrifice, unity, and submission to the will of Allah, as demonstrated by Prophet Ibrahim. In his Eid-El-Kabir broadcast to the people of the state, Governor Ododo said this year's celebration comes at a crucial time for the state and the country, as the people must continue on the path towards lasting peace, security, and economic progress. Now let's hear from the governor.
This year's celebration comes at a crucial time for our state and nation as we continue on the path towards lasting peace, security, and economic progress. I urge all of us to use this opportunity to pray for ourselves, our community, our state, and our dear nation. Let us pray for the continued strength and wisdom of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, whose renewed hope agenda is laying the foundation for a more prosperous Nigeria.
All right, gentlemen, the president preaching peace, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar also, and also state governors. Now, looking at what the president said, he said we need to care for one another and also make sacrifices for the growth of the country. What's your interpretation of this?
Yes, we need to be united at this time. We need to be patient for the reforms of the president to continue to yield dividends, as we've heard from even Nigeria's biggest industrialist and Africa's richest man, Dangote, is confident that by the time these reforms bear fruits substantially, Nigerians will be very grateful to the president. So the president acknowledged the sacrifices that Nigerians are making, but reminded them that true progress is not achieved by quick fixes. You have to be patient to watch those reforms grow and bear dividends. So he wants Nigerians to also show compassion, because that is in the spirit of the season.
Sure.
So it's a happy time for us as a people, because it has pleased God to spare our lives to witness another big Salah, as it is called in our country. Seen as Yorubas will call it Odunla. Our friends in the far north will call it Baban Salah, which is big Salah.
Okay.
So we are alive, we are hopeful, that things will get better. So, and that is what the president is
he said.
saying
Okay,
to us.
Kaidi, the president also urged Nigerians, to pray hard for our troops, for the sacrifices, they are making. This is, praying for our troops is very, very important at this time, isn't it?
So before I get more serious and serious like you, let me just remind the BKO that ram that has gone to his house. I'm coming
Let us
to my
stop
portion.
talking about that. Do you know how many of my friends,
And I'm waiting.
or my wife's friends,
Oh, okay.
Don't worry, I'm one of them.
are Ghanaian?
So, because we can't miss salami. We don't miss it
Absolutely.
every year. And
True.
so BKO's house is the place to go.
Absolutely.
On a very serious note, I think there is no better
Once I
time.
leave this place, I'm going to Majid Jamiu's house. I can't escape it.
Absolutely.
Well, you, Jamu, you're in trouble. So, like I said, there is no better time to talk about sacrifice. And the president has been saying it, but this is also a very good time to emphasize it.
Absolutely.
And one interesting thing, I was doing this analysis all by myself today, and I'm like, looking at, which we're going to talk about later on, looking at the wave of defection, something is clear. It is not necessarily about the obvious that the President Tinubu is a master strategist, but I think it's more about what the governors are seeing,
Okay.
under this current administration. There is better revenue. There is a clearer. Imagine you planning. I was just thinking. Imagine me as a governor. I'm expecting 2 million revenue in a month, and I
Okay.
get into power, and I begin to 6 million plus. Trust me, there's no better time than that. You need to rethink your
Absolutely.
vision and think about the people. So my message is more to those subnationals to really look at the people who bear the brunt, they felt the pain. This is the time for them to enjoy the harvest.
To reap the
So
fruits.
exactly. So they've been through these reforms all together. Good. It was painful. A lot of people scream. People are screaming loud. But you should ask, why are these governors, feeling this federal government positively? It's because of what they have been enjoying. And it's time for people for this to trickle down.
Okay, an example of such message. Let's talk about the governor of Kogi State. The broadcast. He said something. He said his administration's vision is to have a state where every citizen has the opportunity to thrive.
Exactly.
Yes.
Your thoughts on this?
Yes, and he's very much committed to that. I think a lot of people underrated Usman Ododo. When they came in, they saw him as the lackey of the former governor. They never do well and all that. But they can see some of what he has done within the time that he's been there. He's shown commitment, and his approach to workers' welfare is unparalleled. So people are confident that he will continue to work for everyone, because even he's taking development to every part of the state. You cannot say, oh, he's favoring one side. It's not, in terms of inner city roads.
Okay.
He's doing inner city roads in a manner that we had not seen before. He's focusing on inner city roads. Contracts have been awarded. Contracts have been executed. So he embodies this what he says by saying that he wants to build a state in which everyone will feel part of.
Absolutely.
I see that as someone who goes home. I see clearly that this is what is determined to achieve. We only need to see security improve, because some bandits now are continuing to terrorize my people, especially in Kogi West, the Yagba area. The governor has to descend heavily on them. It's been part of the security architecture of the state from the time of the former governor. So he knows what to do. He knows that he has to secure that part of the state a lot better. But I wish him well, and I'm confident that he will continue to get better.
Okay, then. All right, gentlemen, let's move straight to our next conversation.